Admiring him, the passenger by the window, his legs numb, staggered out of the train, and Mrs. Hathall got his seat. Robert, she could tell, was getting nervous. There was nothing surprising in that. He knew very well that Angela couldn't compete with Eileen as cook and housekeeper, and he was wondering just how far below his first wife's standards his second would fall. His next words confirmed her conviction that this was troubling his mind. "Angela spent the week spring-cleaning the place to make it nice for you." Mrs. Hathall was shocked that anyone could make such a statement in front of a carriage full of people. What she would like to say was that any decent woman kept a house clean at all times. But she contented herself with a, "I'm sure she needn't put herself out for me," and added repressively that it was time he got her suitcase down. "5 minutes yet," said Robert. She replied by getting heavily to her feet and struggling with the case herself. Robert and another man intervened to help her. The case nearly fell on the head of a girl with a baby in her arms, and by the time the train drew to a halt at Kingsmarkham, the carriage was in a small uproar. Out on the platform, Mrs. Hathall said, "That could have been avoided if you'd done what you were asked. You always were obstinate." She couldn't understand why he didn't retaliate and fight back. He must be more strung up than she had thought. To goad him further, she said, "I suppose we're going to have a taxi?" Angela's meeting us in the car. Then there wasn't much time for her to say what she had to. She pushed her suitcase at him and took hold of his arm in a proprietary manner. She felt it essential that this daughter-in-law should, in her first glimpse of them, see them consolidated and arm in arm. "Eileen came in this morning," she said, as they gave up their tickets. He shrugged absently. "I wonder you two don't live together." "That'd make it easy for you. You wouldn't have to keep a roof over her head." Mrs. Hathall tightened her grip on the arm, which he had attempted to jerk away. "She said to give you her love, and say, why don't you go round one evening while you're in London?" "You must be joking," said Robert Hathall, scanning the car park. Pursuing her theme, Mrs. Hathall began, "It's a wicked shame," and then she stopped in mid-sentence. A marvellous realization was dawning on her. She said in a satisfied tone, "Doesn't look as if she's put herself out to meet us." It was very unlike Robert, who was his mother's son, to take this sort of aggravation without comment, but again he made none. "It doesn't matter," he said. "Not far to walk." It was a fine September evening, the air aglow with sunset light, the trees heavily foliaged, the gardens bright with the last and finest flowers of summer. But Mrs. Hathall disregarded it all. Her wistfulness had given way to certainty. This wife of Robert's, this thief, this breaker of a happy marriage, was going to let him down, and he knew it. They turned into Wool Lane, a narrow, tree-shaded byway. "That's what I call a nice house," said Mrs. Hathall. Robert glanced at the detached, between-the-wars villa. "It's the only one down here, apart from ours. A woman called Lake lives there. She's a widow." "Pity it's not yours," said his mother with a wealth of implication. "Is it much further?" "Round the next bend. I can't think what happened to Angela." He looked at her uneasily. "I'm sorry about this, Mother. I really am sorry." She was so amazed that he should depart from family tradition as actually to apologize for anything, that she could make no answer to this and remain silent until the cottage came into view. A slight disappointment marred her satisfaction, for this was a decent, though old, house of brown brick with a neat slate roof. But then the garden was untended, the flower beds full of weeds, and the grass inches high. Under a neglected-looking tree lay a scattering of rotten plums. She said, a noise characteristic of her, and signifying that things were turning out the way she expected. He put the key in the front door lock. "Come along in, Mother." He was certainly upset now. There was no mistaking it. She knew that.